Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
So you can find your seats and sit again. So I don't have to ask you if you enjoyed that. I could see it on your faces. You probably haven't danced like that in years. Well, that's Bhakti Yoga, singing and dancing. We're now going to make you all honorary residents of Vrindavan because of your enthusiasm for the process, and we'll give the keys to the city to Philip. I'll just let you calm down a little bit. We were very high on the transcendental platform, and now we're back on the earth. So, actually, anytime you chant, you have the same experience. Of course, there's different levels, but the mantra is very powerful. And described as three modes of nature: ignorance, passion, and goodness. And this takes us beyond even goodness to pure goodness. So take the mantra home with you and chant whenever you can and feel that happiness. So Garuda Prabhu is going to give us another talk about Krishna consciousness, about 20 or 30 minutes. And then, or less. Well, it's said that eloquence is truth spoken concisely. So he's a scholar, and I'm long-winded, so I'll turn the microphone over to him. And then we'll have the dance. Vrindavan is putting on the final touches. You know, it takes like hours to get the proper dress for the Odissi dancers. So when she'll be finished shortly, then we'll have the dance, and then we'll have the feast. It'll take place here. Yeah, well, we'll just move back and, she'll dance over there. Yeah, then the feast, and if I don't know how much time you have, if you want, we can have questions and answers, myself and Garuda Prabhu. That's, yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
We're very honored because Graham Schweig happens to be in Vrindavan when we are, as I discovered, from Facebook. And I've known Graham for a while. In researching American Veda, I've gotten to know a lot of scholars, people who are academically trained and study the traditions, the Indic traditions of Hinduism and the other Dharmic traditions. And there's a certain subset of those academics who are also devotees or practitioners It's a minority, but I've learned that they bring something to the academic study of it that combines the scholarly rigor of academia and the insights that only practitioners and devotees can have. And Graham is one of those, and I've come to value his work and others for that dual kind of rigor and uniqueness that they bring to it. So we're lucky to have them here.
Big round of applause for Glenn. Really nice.
Well, what can one say after such an experience, huh? And did you notice the men joined in eventually? Yeah. I was a little worried about them, but they really came forward, and I was really happy to see that. I was really happy to see that for our species. That was really good. That was really good. Yeah. It's good. But we can notice in the bhajan that Bhattahari just beautifully led. Notice how it began very quietly and peacefully, a kind of shanta mode, peaceful mode. And then it sort of intensified. The tempo increased gradually, it became a little more voiced, a little more exaltation came about. This is the difference between, say, one bhakti tradition and another. The bhakti tradition that Swamiji represents and that all of us here are experiencing is one that delights in the intensity of heart. So there are many bhakti traditions. And bhakti goes all the way back to the Vedas, although it wasn't called bhakti in the Vedas. Now I'm not talking about the American Veda, I'm talking about the Indian Veda. Phil has made my job much more complicated. Now I have to say which Veda, it's really something. But in any case, so in the Vedas, we find three types of hymns. Some that honor the sacrifice, and there are Sanskrit hymns that beautifully describe the sacrifice, how it's to be done, and so on. Then there are hymns that delight in philosophical musings and wonder. And then there are hymns that express the heart. So human beings, the Vedas, these three types of hymns recognize something very basic in human being. We are feeling creatures, we are thinking creatures, and we are acting creatures. All of us. And so in bhakti, of course, we are delighting in that feeling part, that affective dimension of human being. So with the Chaitanya Bhakti, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago and came to this area from Bengal. He worked between those two areas as well as Jagannath Puri in Orissa. And he came and gave the world a certain intensity of devotion, intensity of heart. So you could intensity of heart. So you could it's really beyond the historical eye. But it becomes formulated particularly from the 11th century through the 16th century and culminates in the very tradition that you're experiencing today in the 16th century. Began in the 11th century with a philosopher known as Ramanuja. And he promulgated an idea that one can be devoted, one can cultivate the heart in devotion, the feeling, the affective apparatus of the human being. One can really cultivate feeling. And in society at large, we don't give much regard to feelings. I know in the university where I teach, no one teaches about feelings, except for me. And the idea is that we come into this world feeling. We're not very good at thinking or acting. Have you ever seen those miniature humans, little baby humans? They don't think or act very well. They just feel. And at the end of our lives, we'll also have nothing left but feeling. We come into the world with feeling, and we leave the world with feeling. We develop capacities of thinking and acting as we mature. But as we move on to passing from this life, we're left with what is left in our hearts. So Chaitanya came 500 years ago, and his disciples, known as the Six Goswamis, gave the teachings that he himself exemplified in his behavior. So this is what this tradition is about. There are other bhakti traditions and bhakti practices, but this is a very serious, disciplined practice by which one can contemplate the divine in very serious meditational practices. So in the Yoga Sutra, we have, of course, the famous, this is a book I'm translating right now for Yale University Press, and the second famous sutra text, Yoga Chitta Vritti Narodaha. You may have all heard that famous text. And most people translate that in something like, yoga is the restraining of the mind. Now, how many people do you know go to the yoga studio and say to their loved ones, oh, see you later, I'm going to the yoga studio to restrain my mind? I've never heard anyone say this. Yoga is really not about restraining the mind. It sounds like such a strain too, doesn't it? But rather, when one is filled in the heart, one doesn't have to worry about the mind. That's the idea. And the mind becomes more and more settled and purified. And that's the idea behind this practice. But as much as it is almost like a party, dancing and singing and so on, as Swamiji so rightfully says, it is. It's also a very serious meditational practice where one practices this oral reception and one's capacity to truly hear. In our society, we're not very good at hearing, and even hearing one another. What to speak of hearing the divine. So this is a practice whereby we can really begin to learn how to hear one another and hear the divine within one another. What does Patanjali say? Hridaye, hridaye chitta samvit. Beautiful, beautiful phrase in Sanskrit. From deep within the heart, full awareness is realized. From deep within the heart, awareness or consciousness or knowledge is fully realized. So it's within this feeling dimension of human that we can know things even more deeply than just theoretical knowledge that we all get from the universities or from book knowledge. So it's a practice that really is extraordinarily sophisticated, and there have been volumes and volumes written about it. And yet it seems like everyone is sort of partying at the same time, doesn't it? In fact, the spiritual teacher who came and started this movement had a disciple try to give a course at University of California, Berkeley. And the professor there, Professor Fritz Stahl, a well-known Indologist, said, no, we're not going to let him do it. He told the LA Times, we're not going to let him do it because they're so busy dancing and chanting, they don't possibly have any time to think about it. To that, the founder of the movement, his teacher, the devotee's teacher, wrote the LA Times saying, actually, we are a very, very amazing literary and theological tradition. And I'd like to tell you about it. And that then precipitated a whole discussion and correspondence with Fritz Stahl, back and forth. So he raised the issue to a higher level. Of course, that devotee who did not have any degrees was not able to give the course, but that's fine. But at least there was a good discussion that ensued. So this is a practice that is really one of the truly vibrant and amazing practices that does ground itself in the Vedas, in the Indian one. Just want to make sure that you understand. A little bit in the American one too, but as Phil writes. But in the Indian Veda, you may have all heard, for example, that phrase, truth is one, paths are many. How many of you have heard that phrase? Okay. I'm sorry to tell you that that's a mistranslation. This is bad news. The good news is that the real translation is very deep, beautiful. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. Right? That's how it goes. Right? Ekam sat. The word truth is not in there. Sat, the word for truth in Sanskrit is satya, a future passive participle. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll forgo the grammar. Satya means truth, that which is grasped as reality. So truth. So it's not truth is one. Reality is one. Okay, about which vibrant persons. You can say sages, but really vipra, vibrant, shaking, vibrant. Vibrant persons in various ways speak. That is the accurate translation. You also have another mistranslation. Truth is one, sages call it by many names. Right? Have you heard? There's no word nama in there. Right? So truth is not in there. Nama is not in there. So, but the real translation says a lot. First of all of us have our own truths. Actually, truths are many. But as Swamiji said earlier, when he goes on these weird Amazonian trips, I don't understand how he does it, but anyway, that's for a later discussion, Swamiji, okay? But there, he talked about sharing with the locals there, his practice. It's not about imposing, it's not about proselytizing, it's about sharing. And that's exactly in the mood of the Vedic adage. There is one reality about which vibrant persons in various ways speak, which implies sharing. And the essential meaning of bhakti is sharing. So that's what this process is about. And much has been written on it, and much needs still to be written on it, and that, of course, keeps me rather busy. But I'll just stop there because I think, again, Swamiji said a lot. Badarayana said everything, and you all said everything with everything. So I'll just stop and maybe open up for just even comments or questions, I think would be good. Is that right? Is that good, Phil? Okay, good. But American Veda you can get from him. Indian Veda you get from me. Any comments, questions, anything about the process? Anything at all, really? Yeah. No, first we'll go here.
Namaste.
Namaste.
And thank you. You just mentioned that Ekam Sat, it's that which is grasping the reality about which vibrant people speak in various ways. Is that from Bhagavad Gita? Because there is a passage in Bhagavad Gita, which says some people hear about the truth, and some people hear the truth and still don't know what it is, and some people hear and know the truth in its essence. So it's not linked to that passage.
Yeah. Well, it is linked to that passage only in terms of the word sat is used. I'd have to look at it. Yeah. Okay. Whoops. Have I gone off? Oh, there we are. It's not from the Bhagavad Gita. It is from the Vedas. The Ekam Sat Vipra Vadanti. But certainly it is related. It is related. The word truth. I mean, let's talk about the truth about the word truth. Truth is something that we impute somehow an exhaustive understanding and claim to reality. That is not the meaning of truth. The word truth, even in English, is a future passive participle. It means that which we grasp as true. You know the parable about the 6 blind men and the elephant? Anyone? Pretty much known, right? Yeah. That originates in India. Yes. And the Jains took it up, and the Buddhists took it up, and it went to the West. But the idea is that 6 blind men were sent out by a king to the forest to see what they could find, and they came across an elephant. And one said that one was touching the ears and said, "Oh, I found a fan." And another one was touching the leg of the elephant, so I found a tree. Another one said, I found a rope with a tail, and so on. Were they right? Were they wrong? Both, as we say with an Indian accent, right? Both, right? Yeah, both. Yeah, aspirated T. So the idea is that they were right in terms of their experience, but did any blind man have a claim to the whole elephant? No. So the idea is we share. And the reason why Swamiji shares all the time is because he wants to gain that much more a part of people's realities and people's hearts. That's bhakti. It's a beautiful process. Comment or question, yeah?
Curious if the Narada Bhakti Sutras are part of this tradition,
Absolutely.
part of your teachings.
I'm translating it for Columbia University Press right now. Yeah, very much so. It's again translations are always tricky, you know. But yes, that is very much a part. That is a nice summary of bhakti. It shows that bhakti is something that is something that must be cultivated. While there are, in some sense, no rules because it's something so natural on the one hand, and yet it can be such a discipline on the other. So there's a combination of great spontaneity and sort of natural affinity on the one hand. On the other hand, there are very serious practices. Even those. And they make it seem so easy, right? So that's a master. But at first, have you ever heard a beginning violinist play scales? It is absolutely the most excruciating experience ever in my whole life, I tell you. So at first we may stumble a little bit in the bhakti process as a very serious disciplined practice. But then it becomes just so natural, so beautiful. But as Phil said, in that generous opening before my talk here, scholars, I started practicing yoga, different forms of yoga, since I was 13 years old. And I'm only 36 right now. Okay. 46? Okay. Just keep adding on the 10s and you'll get there eventually. But the idea is that yoga is something that I found in the yoga community was lacking a certain capacity, intellectual capacity, to really understand the texts. And on the other hand, the academic community were just doing it as a job. So I had a hard time finding my place in either community. So I brought both together in myself and in my life. So Phil was absolutely correct, that a practitioner is someone, I mean, the last thing I tell people when I do yoga workshops is I tell them that I got my PhD from Harvard, because that scares people, right? All of you are about to walk out, right? No, good, okay, that's because of Buddha Hari's scare time, that's good. But the armchair scholar, you know, image, the fellow or the gal that just learns for learning's sake without realizing knowledge. As in the Gita, Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam. You know, knowledge and realized knowledge together. So, yes, the Bhakti Sutra is very much a text that is representative of this tradition. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I understand where you get the translation of reality.
Yeah.
From which word do you get the idea of vibrant persons?
Vipra. Vipra means literally to shake. Vipra. Yeah.
Could you repeat the original Sanskrit sentence again, please?
Yes. Ekam sat, vipra bahuda badanti.
Thank you.
Yeah. We can go into that more technically if you want. What's the answer? Oh, the dancer's coming. Okay, good. So, do we want to set up now, or do we have a few more minutes? Where's the dancer? Do we have a dancer? Oh, standing out down the stairs. Okay, then we should. So why don't we stop now? And of course, we can even field questions later as the evening progresses. But now we'll all move this way.
This way, the dance will be here.
Okay, so all sort of kind of turn everything around. Yeah, perpendicular. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's have another applause for the Graham's erudite, scholarly, devotional presentation. I feel that we cut him off a little early, but you know, there's some hunger pangs going through all of us that are real as well, so that's also reality.
Yeah.
We're just going to, some of my men can help me here, we're going to move all these mats. And clean up here. Clean up.
So as much as the closer rows you can make. And I'll help you with the medicine. So we'll just hold it together.
You can stay here. Here's our dancer today. Are you going to dance for us today a little bit? Okay, can you do a little something for us now? Show some dance. Do a little something, Tara. Some little dance. Can you dance a little? You can show them something? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Wow. Okay, a big round of applause for Tara. You know how sometimes they have the performance before the big performance. Right? The little bands come on before the big bands. But just a note of interest, the lady who's coming on, 23-year-old Vrindavan Dasi, I met her when she was about the same age in St. Petersburg. And her mother and father are my students. And she would, whenever I would hold a program, she'd come and dance like that. Spontaneously, it was just like a guru was saying, bhakti something to India. You know, how should we educate our daughter? I said, just teach her to dance. Along with her schooling, make sure she learns to dance. And she started at this age, 4, doing the Odissi dance. And I think that's how she won the competition. So, is she ready? Okay. Vrinda, I'll let her speak for herself. But do, apart from the technique which is mastered, see the emotion that it's through her face a lot of her emotion comes from, and that this is the way the dancer expresses their love for God, is through their facial expressions, their emotions. It's that reciprocation to love and be loved. So the dancer does that through dancing with feeling. And she definitely has feeling. Vrindavan, you're on stage. I know this is not a big auditorium and thousands of people here, but these are very sincere seekers of the truth, and you can speak to them and dance for them.
Hare Krishna. It is so wonderful to see you all in Shri Vrindavan Dham. So today you're going to have a glimpse on Indian classical dance. And this dress is, in India there are 8 forms of classical dance. So this is one of the 8 forms, and it goes Odissi dance. So many of you will think, what is the dance like? What is the difference between Indian classical dance and the normal dances of any other states or whatever? So Indian classical dance is very special because it's based on the scriptures which came from the Lord himself. And Indian classical dance is also a part of Bhakti Yoga. And in any yoga, you have two main things. It's practice and connecting oneself to the Supreme, to God, through meditation. So in dance, we also have a practice. We practice our stepping and our exercise daily to keep our body fit. At the same time, we have a meditation. Our meditation is when we dance. We dance, usually the dance is about the Lord, Lord Krishna. So about Lord Shiva. And who is Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is a great personality. And to the world, it's known as a Lord who is responsible for destruction and responsible for the mood of ignorance and many more. But for the devotees, he's known as the great devotee of Lord Krishna. It's even stated in the scriptures, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu is the best of all the devotees in this world. So that's why today I'm going to dedicate my dance to him, and I'm going to perform 8 forms of Lord Shiva. He took many forms to help the world. When the Ganga came from the heavenly planet, it came to his bun. So that's how Ganga came. Helped Ganga to come to the earthly planets. And also he drank the poison and helped the demigods to get the nectar. So in this way, I'm going to perform his pastimes. And I have been studying an Odissi dance for last 15 years under the guidance of my beautiful gurus in Vrindavan, who are Kunjalata Mishra and Pratap Narayan. So now I would like to start my dance with the blessings of my spiritual master who guided me in this line and who blessed me since my childhood. This is just because of him I'm here in front of you all. And I would like to also yeah. Hare Krishna.
Vrindavan
I simply can't comment on that. I don't have enough words to describe how wonderful that was. I'll leave it with your memories of Vrindavan. Now we're going to have the feast. It's 4 o'clock. Usually you probably eat at 2 or 1, so please excuse us. What we'll do is we'll line up. We have quite a few people, so I think about 4 or 5 lines. Sit there and our devotees will serve you. Our master used to say this is also a form of yoga. The food has been offered to Sri Krishna, so it's blessed, it's purified. So he used to tell us, eat as much as you can. But in India, you don't eat too much. Find the balance, right? Buddha said the middle path, find balance. But I think you'll enjoy it. And I'll leave the rest up to you afterwards if you'd like to stick around and do some more chanting or questions and answers, or maybe you're just tired, want to go home. We're your servants, we're here to serve you, so just give us a little indication. But before you go, I have your presents. So at some point you can just come up and we'll give you all these wonderful gifts. And next year you'll dance for them, right, Tara? You'll do it. Okay, very good, thank you. All right, so please line up and we'll serve you as quickly as possible. I think that Philip would like to say.
I just want to, on behalf of everybody on our tour, thank you. I think I speak for everybody when I say I feel blessed to have been welcomed to this land of bhakti in this incredibly gracious and thoughtful way. Bhakti takes on many forms. It could take infinite forms because everything is God and everything's an object of devotion. And in India, one is saying that the guest is God. And my experience is they really mean it. And we've just had a taste, an extremely powerful taste of the true meaning of that bhakti, that the guest is God. We thank you deeply.
Sure.
She'll guide us on how to make the law.
Yes. So one line can be that, facing with your back towards this wall, and one line facing this people. So like this one, and then